this is exciting. We've got we're moving from this kind of amazing digital health activity that is happening around the world in different ways, shapes, and forms to now talking more about specific interventions in cardiological care. And again, excited to hand the mic over to our own Jerry Antimano, who heads up HITLAB's community development and management. Jerry, the podium is yours.
Thank you very much, Stan. Yeah, really looking forward to introducing this penultimate discussion for the symposium. I'm very, very honored to welcome on Kamil Kipiel, Dr. Effie Andrikopoulou. I hope I pronounced that okay, Effie. And I think Dr. Andrzej Gackowski is just going to join us shortly. I think he is.
Yes, he will. Yeah.
He's in clinic today, so he'll hopefully be with us very soon. But without further ado, we are going to be looking at how digital simulation training is improving cardiological care worldwide, and who better to talk about it than the both of you and Dr. Gackowski when he does come on. But we'd love to start off with some introductions first. Effie, since you were first on, I believe, we'll go ladies first. And if you'd like to let the audience know who you are and what you do.
Thank you so much, Jerry, and thank you, Stan, and thank you, HITLAB, for inviting me to participate in this panel. I'm Effie Andrikopoulou. I'm a cardiologist and cardiac imager, and I'm working at the University of Alabama at Birmingham, in Birmingham, Alabama, and I'm privileged and honored to train our next generation of cardiologists, our cardiology fellows, in all of the different modalities of cardiovascular imaging, including echocardiography, which is what we'll be speaking a lot about during our session. And I can't wait to hear more about what MST is doing. I know about them, but I'm sure the audience is going to be thrilled with how they're advancing fellows training in cardiology.
Absolutely. Thank you, Effie. And pleasure to have you on as always. Kamil, I'm going to hand over to you to give us a little bit of background about yourself. And I understand you have a couple of slides you want to share with the audience. So I'm going to hand it over to you so everyone can get a better understanding about what MST is and, of course, who you are as well.
That's right. Thank you so much, Jerry. Thank you for the invitation. It's really great honor to be with you tonight, because in my time it's almost 8 p.m. My name is Kamil Kipiel, and I'm a CEO and co-founder of Medical Simulation Technologies. We are a company based in Krakow, Poland from 2016, and we provide to the market, in our opinion, the most sophisticated simulators for cardiology and cardiac surgery training. And now maybe a few things why it's so important, because usually physicians can train on patients, and we think we should change it because it's really risky and really demanding for medical doctors. Of course, they can train on animals or cadavers, but it's not the real human life. Of course, they have simulators available at the market, but most of them are based on computer graphics and synthetic heart models, which in our opinion are far, far away from reality. So we think market needs something new, something which is based on real living patients. And that's what are we doing. So we have patented technology of converting the computer tomography scans into our dynamic simulation system. We are the first and the only one company nowadays in the world that uses a real data set from human being, from human heart, and converting it into dynamic simulation sets. That's crucial thing, because we can provide our customers all over the world the image of the heart of dedicated patient, of exact patient before the operation or the medical procedure in real life. And we are able to do that in 24 hours. Our first product put on the market in 2018 is Mr. Timothy simulator. It's a transesophageal echocardiography simulator, and you learn about it in 3 minutes playing the movie. So maybe I will skip this slide and move to Timothy, because during the pandemic COVID-19, we decided to create an online version of Mr. Timothy, which is capable, from your desk, from your computer, and it is all the movements are available using your computer mouse or touchpad from your laptop. We are placed on 4 continents already. Our beachhead market, by the way, was United States. And of course, we are operating in Europe, Asia, and the first steps in Brazil as well. So we are really happy and proud to serve so noble entities like Columbia University, Harvard Medical School from US, CRF, and great medtech companies like Edwards Life Sciences or Abbott Laboratories, and many, many other entities from Europe and from United States. And the crucial thing is that 3 years ago, we decided to use our experience and use our technology in transesophageal echo simulation to create a medical simulation platform for micro-invasive heart interventions, for structural heart interventions. And the first simulator we put on the market 3 years ago was Harpoon Medical, created for the company from Baltimore, US, now acquired by Edwards Life Sciences. It was the mitral valve plastics. And this year, in December, we are launching the Trinity, the transeptal puncture simulator, which is sufficient for something like 20 procedures of transeptal puncture available at the market right now. And this number is growing constantly. We are still a small company based in Krakow, now thinking about the entity in US, set up by I would say 6 positive freaks, passionate in science and medical background, with science and medical background as well, and something like 10 plus employees on the board right now. We want to be a global expert in cardiovascular simulation and cardiovascular training. Thank you so much. And maybe, Jerry, we can play the movie right now.
Meet Mr. Timothy, the most realistic TEE simulator. Mr. Timothy is a unique transesophageal echocardiography simulator based directly on the computed tomography data. It gives unique learning and teaching capabilities with very realistic imaging experience, fully matching the complex manipulations of the probe and of the echo control panel. 2D, X-plane, 3D, and live MPR modes are available, accompanied by color flow imaging. Variety of different normal and pathology cases boosts the learning experience. Each is accompanied by a unique segmented color heart model. Unique teaching tools like the color markers placed in a 3-dimensional space and color-coded tricuspid leaflets can be seen both in 2D and 3D modes to understand the anatomy, particularly in the context of structural interventional imaging. Mr. Timothy is accepted by many physicians and TEE imaging leaders. Learn more on our webpage and social media.
No, really, really wonderful presentation there, Kamil, and very, very condensed as well, with all the information I think that you really need to be able to transfer to the audience. So, I think one of the things that I think we'd like to kind of get to know a little bit more, or maybe get some perspective on actually, from your end, Effie, in terms of, what Kamil's presenting here in terms of the importance and the significance like around like being able to use these kinds of imaging tools to train our physicians of tomorrow and the future, and your thoughts are around that.
Absolutely. This, I will have to admit, I wasn't familiar with the company, but I am familiar with virtual and augmented reality training that is now coming out, especially since COVID. It had started before, but COVID really catapulted the development of that space in medical education. And I will have to say that this, first of all, the pictures are very real. It's literally what we see when we do a high quality transesophageal echocardiogram exam on an actual patient. And I'm sure that with the growth of the structural heart disease market, I know that MST and Kamil, I know that they are focusing a lot on not only showing and teaching what normal looks like, which is very important for our trainees as they get more familiar with how to perform those kind of tests themselves, but also showing what the abnormal looks like. And a few things that I want to point out. This is tremendously helpful for medical education. The traditional teaching in medical education during fellowship is see one, do one, teach one. But maybe now with these simulators, maybe our paradigm should be different, and we should say see one, sim one, and then do one and teach one. I can't imagine. I mean, our future cardiologists are going to be so fortunate, because not only does this reduce risk to patients, like Kamil said, we see, especially in big academic centers, we see a lot of pathology, we see a lot of really sick patients. And one has to know how to do those tests, not only in a time efficient way, so that we don't, because this is an invasive test, so it needs to be done in a time efficient way with as little anesthesia and sedation as needed, but also in a safe way and in a way that will yield the highest quality exam. And medical simulation, and this kind of simulation that's based on actual 3D and on real life parts, that will definitely advance our medical education.
No, wonderful, wonderful, Effie. Really great insights there. Around being able to actually apply that to the training of the surgeons and the physicians of tomorrow. And speaking of physicians, Dr. Gackowski has been able to join us. Thank you so much, Dr. Gackowski.
I was able to join. Sorry for the delay.
No worries.
I'm cardiologist, and I'm with this project from the beginning, from the scratch, where we started thinking about it. And I do think, I know it is very useful in education of young residents, but it also made my education much improved. So even if I was doing TEs for 20 years, when I have the simulator, I can test some hypotheses about what shall I improve in my manipulations with the probe in order to get the proper images. And remember that at least in our experience, we frequently get the TEE studies done by remote hospitals, usually, which they are performed, they are recorded, but they do not present enough quality to make decisions about the treatments. And you know very well that the heart team, which will decide about which kind of therapy is useful for the patient, must have good data. And if you don't know how to acquire those images, you are really producing useless studies, and then you have to repeat it. And of course, swallowing a probe is not a nice idea, so even if you have to do it once, but if you have to do it twice or 3 times in order to get a proper decision is really bad thing. Another thing is also how people manipulate with the probe in the esophagus. So if you are very skilled, you do just small movements to get to a proper, section of the heart in a few steps. If you are not experienced with this kind of thing, then you just randomly move your probe up and down, rotate, flex, and do silly things, getting bad images, and at the same putting some risk on the patient. So I do believe it's very important also for structural interventions, because teaching people to understand what is important for proper selection of patients and proper execution of the procedure is really crucial.
No, that's wonderful. That's wonderful, Andrew. Thank you so much for taking the time to come on and deliver some very, very quick insights on that. Just to wrap up, and I can't believe we're already at time, you know, after you both gave some very detailed overviews with your thoughts on the imaging that Kamil is bringing, you know, to the ecosystem. Kamil, I suppose I want to wrap up with you and maybe some very, very final thoughts from Effie and Andrew before we finish. But you know, where do you see like kind of the technology with imaging and so forth being implemented, you know, in the training of these physicians in certain regions in the world?
Really, we started from TEE, so transesophageal echocardiography, because we found that this is really demanding for physicians and very unpleasant for a patient. So that was a great thing to use modern technology, and the breakthrough, you know, we just based on our computer tomography scan. So that's why Effie mentioned that the images are so great, because that's a real human heart. Okay, there is no computer graphics inside. We have a technology for conversion, and the future of the medicine, from our point of view, is, you know, gaining, you know, the scans of the heart and transmitting it to the simulation system, when physicians can train these patients in real life before the procedure on that patient. And that would be great.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you, Kamil. And very, very, very quickly, just 60 seconds, if either Andrew or Effie, you've got a last thought on building on what Kamil said, we can wrap up and hand back to Stan. So either of you want to go first very quickly before we wrap up this panel?
I can just quickly. Oh no, go ahead, Andrzej.
That's fine.
Okay.
So just
go ahead, Effie. You go first, and then we'll bring.
Okay. I was just going to quickly say that again, I want to highlight the importance of using this technology to improve patient safety and quality of care, because that's what eventually high quality medical education translates into. We shouldn't just look at it as a tool to help us learn a skill from a technical standpoint. What this translates into is higher quality of care and improved patient safety.
Perfect. And Andrew, last 10 seconds.
Also, yeah, so also reassurance of physicians to make sure that they really feel comfortable approaching a patient for the first time, but then making their skills even better after some initial experience. So this is continuous education, not only at the start, but also during the process of improving your skills. Also, it's important for proctors of companies that provide the devices, because they are not physicians, they are not allowed to touch the patient, but they have to advise physicians during the procedure how to improve the imaging, and they do not know it because they have no experience. So this is also a chance for them. Thank you.
No, wonderful. Thank you, all three of you, for giving such wonderful insights, and we're looking forward to seeing where MST goes in the future, Kamil. But until then, thank you all for your insights, and we hope you have a good rest of your days. Stan,
thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Jerry.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Fantastic panel. Jerry, thank you for moderating that, and really just incredible information that we're learning more and more about how these sorts of cardiological interventions can really help folks and really make sure that they're receiving the right care at the right time. And that's critical. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. In case you are not able to catch all these sessions, when you subscribe to our YouTube channel, you'll get alerts, and you can look at chat boards, and you can, whenever a new video comes out, you'll get notified. And as you know, we are constantly trying to do everything we can do at the lab to reduce information asymmetry when it comes to technology adoption. So we want to share as much information as possible about the safety, the efficacy, the development, the funding of these digital health platforms that are changing medicine every day. And so we are constantly putting out new videos on a regular basis. So if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, you will be sure not to miss any of the good work that the HITLAB team is doing to put this out there. And again, it's all about evidence. Evidence really does matter. And HITLAB has been doing this for 25 years, evidence generating digital health studies on efficacy and safety. We have another book giveaway. We are thrilled and again, grateful to our colleague at Columbia Business School, Rita McGrath, professor in strategy on the entrepreneurial mindset. And the next question to win the book is, who sets the, this is the last question. I think we have a new question. Who sets the human rights standard was the last question we had. Oh no, sorry, who? So this is now the group that sets the international human rights standard globally. A, the International Red Cross, B, the UN, C, individual governments, or D, Amnesty International. And the correct answer is B, the United Nations. Megan, congratulations. Again, transparency is the key here. You all saw the answers coming in. And Megan, if you could contact the team, and we will get you the personalized signed copy of the Entrepreneurial Mindset by Rita McGrath as soon as possible, depending on where you are in the world. Some of these can be fairly rigorous distribution delivery methods, whatever you want to call it. And so anyway, that is always interesting.